Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast thematic presentation and recording for the part of the lesson that has us looking at the top 10 most influential First Ladies. Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to today's lesson, scroll down the correct section, and get ready to fill in the concept chart with detailed descriptors from each First Lady that served in this capacity. Please remember, if you need to, you can replay any part of this presentation for detail, clarity, or repetition later on. Let's go ahead and get started. From ThoughtCo, these are the 10 most influential First Ladies. Over the years, the role of First Lady has been filled by a range of personalities. Some of these women stayed in the background, while others used their position to advocate for specific issues. A few First Ladies even played an important role in their husband's administration, working alongside the president to help enact policies. As a result, the role of First Lady has evolved over the years. Each First Lady chosen for this list used their position and influence to institute changes in our nation. First, here's Dolly Madison. Born Dolly Payne Todd, Dolly Madison was 17 years younger than her husband, James Madison. She was one of the most well-loved First Ladies. After serving as Thomas Jefferson's White House hostess after his wife died, she became the First Lady when her husband won the presidency. She was active in creating weekly social events and entertaining dignitaries in society, and during the War of 1812, the British were bearing down on Washington. Dolly Madison understood the significance of the national treasures housed in the White House and refused to leave without saving as much as she could. Through her efforts, many items were saved that would have most probably been destroyed when the British captured and burned the White House. Next, here is Sarah Polk. Sarah Childress Polk was notably well educated, attending one of few higher learning institutions available to women at the time. As First Lady, she used her education to help her husband, James K. Polk. She was known to craft speeches and write correspondence for him. Furthermore, she took her duties as First Lady very seriously, consulting Dolly Madison for advice. She entertained officials of both parties and was well respected throughout Washington. Next down here is Abigail Fillmore. Born Abigail Powers, Abigail Fillmore was one of Millard Fillmore's teachers at New Hope Academy, even though she was only 2 years older than him. She shared a love of learning with her husband, which she turned into the creation of White House Library. She helped select books for inclusion as the library was being designed, and as a side note, the reason there was no White House Library up to this point was that Congress feared that it would make the president too powerful. They relented in 1850 when Fillmore took office and appropriated $2,000 for its creation. And down here is Edith Wilson. Edith Wilson was actually Woodrow Wilson's second wife while president. His first wife, Ellen Louise Axton, died in 1914. Wilson then married Edith Bowling Galt on December 18, 1915, and in 1919, President Wilson suffered a stroke. So Edith Wilson basically took control of the presidency. She made daily decisions about what items should or should not be taken to her husband and for input. If it was not important in her eyes, then she would not pass it on to the president. A style for which she was widely criticized, it is still not completely known of how much power Edith Wilson truly wielded. Next, here is Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt is considered by many to be America's most inspiring and influential First Lady. She married Franklin Roosevelt in 1905 and was one of the first to use her role as First Lady to advance causes she found significant. She fought for New Deal proposals, civil rights, and the rights of women. She believed education and equal opportunity should be guaranteed for all. And after her husband died, Eleanor Roosevelt was on the board of directors for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or the NAACP. She was a leader in the formation of the United Nations at the end of World War II, and she helped draft the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and was the first chairman of the UN Human Rights Commission, too. Next down here is Jacqueline Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy was born Jacqueline Lee Bouvet in 1929, and she attended Vassar and then George Washington University. Graduating with a degree in French literature, Jackie Kennedy married John F. Kennedy in 1953. Jackie Kennedy spent much of her time as First Lady working to restore and refurnish the White House. Once complete, she took America on a televised tour of the White House, too. She was revered as First Lady for her poise and dignity. Next down here is Betty Ford. Betty Ford was born Elizabeth Ann Bloomer, and she married Gerald Ford in 1948. Betty Ford was willing as First Lady to openly discuss her experiences with psychiatric treatment. She was also a major advocate for equal rights amendment and the legalization of abortion. She went through a mastectomy and spoke out about breast cancer awareness. Her candor and openness about her private life was virtually unprecedented for such a high-profile public figure. Next down here is Rosalind Carter. Rosalind Carter was born Eleanor Rosalind Smith in 1927. She married Jimmy Carter in 1946 throughout his term as president, and Rosalind Carter was one of his closest advisors. Unlike previous First Ladies, she actually sat in on many cabinet meetings. She was an advocate for mental health issues and became the honorary chair of the President's Commission on Mental Health. Next on here is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Rodham was born in 1947 and married Bill Clinton in 1975. Hillary Clinton was an extremely powerful First Lady. She was involved in directing policy, especially in the realm of healthcare. She was appointed the head of the Task Force on National Healthcare Reform. Further, she spoke out on women's and children's issues. She espoused important legislation like the Adoption of Safe Families Act, and after President Clinton's second term, Hillary Clinton became the junior senator from New York. She also ran a strong campaign for Democratic presidential nomination in 2008 election and was selected to be Barack Obama's Secretary of State. In 2016, Hillary Clinton became the first female presidential nominee of a major party. And down here is Michelle Obama. In 1992, Michelle LeBon Robinson was born in 1964, married Barack Obama, the first African American to become President of the United States. Together, they served in the White House between 2008 and 2016. Obama was a lawyer, businesswoman, and philanthropist who currently works primarily in the public sphere. As First Lady, she focused on the Let's Move program to help reduce childhood obesity, a program that led to the passage of the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act, which allowed the U.S. Department of Agriculture to set the new nutritional standards for all food in schools. Her second initiative, the Reach Higher initiative, continues to provide students with the guidance and resources to go on to post-high school educations and professional careers. So as you guys can see, the role of First Lady, although it has changed over the years, is still in many ways widely unwritten as far as specific rules and guidelines for what people should be and who they are. But these women all have something in common. They're unique boundaries that have been pushed in a healthy way to move the nation forward, at least also not just in the eyes of their husbands and, of course, in many ways, the president, but also, of course, in the eyes and minds of the American people. Thank you very much for tuning in, and go well with completing the rest of the lesson.